Here are all the materials you'll need. The distance between each of the dots is exactly 5 blocks with the edges colored red. You're gonna start by adding a 5 block high pillar on each of the dots highlighted with black. Place some stairs at the base of each pillar. I'll delve into this point later in the video. The general outline of the house is completely up to you. And I'll add stone bricks to the blue concrete as following. It's always a great idea to have the blueprint on hand to help you during your build. I added the wall's neckers using stone bricks as my main block. This gives a consistent and an even look throughout the build. Use wooden slabs to give texture and depth to your walls. You can use various different chiseled blocks to yield a nice cozy feel. Add more slabs to your roof extension to give a nice aesthetic. And make sure to use buttons to give the good old vintage nails look. Make use of barrels and spruce trapdoors to give a better texture to your pillars. You can always add multiple entablatures to your build. Don't forget to add your stairs and leaves to give more depth to your wall. Now I added some cobblestone walls at the edges to add some depth. As for the door, you can choose from endless designs for your column's capital. Extend your pillars to make them 10 blocks high for your second story. And next, add a separator between your floors. I preferred using chiseled stone for this part. I then added some slabs to the roof. Buttons also add depth and texture to your base. Build the wall to your second floor and don't forget to add barrels to your pillar columns. It's always a great idea to add some trapdoors. Here I made an overhang. This will connect to the porch at one point. I'll add my designs real quick here, which made a really great difference in the way the whole build looks and presents. I used some of the logs as beams to close off the roof. This split the roof into 3 separate parts, which are easier to work with. This is simple yet effective design for the fountain. It's the centerpiece of the build. You can use wooden stairs in opposition to the stone stairs I'm using here, but try to sustain symmetry to make it look more presentable. You can add a small horse or wolf statue instead of fountain if you want. Please refrain from using plain colors as it ruins your entire aesthetic. I use different blocks to give a gradient to the color of the fountain. Make sure the water has a spot to drop down into the lower part of the fountain. Add water in all edges to hide any bald spots. You can also use many designs for the roof, but if you prefer simplicity, keep the roof flat. Use different gradients of blocks to add texture to the roof. Me personally, I went with a design which is a slope on one side. This is extremely complicated and I don't advise trying it. I used more slabs to add a greater number of intervals for a smoother presentable slope. I didn't forget to add a gradient. I added glass and wooden buttons to look like a polished nail. Choosing a much simpler design for this part, I added andesite and fences to make it look a bit modern. Lanterns are also a great way to stop monsters from spawning and adding a third aspect to your builds. Now time for the porch. This part is extremely difficult and a lot of people mess up here. If it doesn't look right to you, you can always try out a different design before committing it. I like keeping my design consistent, so I use the same slope design as the roof. A porch always looks better when silhouetted, so I added stairs from all around to keep it high. Keep the porch extended all around to add more depth and design. I think this looks pretty good. Here I made the porch on 2 different levels to make it look more natural. Then I connected the rest of the build to the porch, as you can see. Now we can add some stairs as beams to the logs. You don't always have to copy what I do exactly. Don't hesitate to try out your style. You can also add depth to the inner pillars, and don't forget lanterns and buttons. They always add a great touch. I used a strip design for the roof. You can experiment with different tones to see what fits you best. Now close off any open walls. Add some walls and gates as an outline, and it's always a great idea to add leaves or flower pots. Keep all your design consistent all around to keep the touch alive. You can even go a step further and add some stairs and tables. Here. I went back to the roof to add a little more detail. Again, you can keep it simple, it's your base after all. Now you can add farms inside the walls of the porch. Add a grass patch for your horses that you can make a little stable. Add hay bales and cauldrons of water for a cozy touch. You can also make a little pond. You have infinite possibilities. You can lure the horses in using golden carrots or leads. Make sure the gates to the stable are closed when the horses are inside. You can of course ditch the horse stable and go with a cow and sheep farm. You can also add crop farms on the other side or next to each other. These crop farms will provide you and your animals a good supply of food. And went with sugar cane as it's a constant supply of fiber. Also don't forget about light sources, the land needs these to grow. Blocked off with walls to keep it clean, organized and prevent any damages. Now you can close off the walls and separate the first and second floors. Add stairs for easier access and place light sources to stop any creepers from destroying your wall. I believe it's now looking pretty good.